What if the Library of Alexandria never burned? Have you ever wondered what would happen if humanity never lost its greatest collection of knowledge? What if one building surviving could have completely changed the world? Today we're looking at one of history's biggest what ifs. What if the Library of Alexandria never burned down? Before the internet, before universities, before Wikipedia, there was the Library of Alexandria. Built over 2,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, it wasn't just a library. It was humanity's first attempt at collecting all knowledge in one place. At its peak, historians believe it contained hundreds of thousands of scrolls covering astronomy, mathematics, medicine, history, engineering, philosophy, and countless other subjects. Some of these works existed nowhere else on Earth. The library became a gathering place for the smartest minds of the ancient world. Scholars traveled from Greece, Egypt, Persia, and beyond to study and exchange ideas. Some of history's greatest thinkers worked there. Ancient scientists measured the size of the earth with remarkable accuracy. Mathematicians developed theories that are still used today. Astronomers carefully tracked the stars and planets. For centuries, Alexandria was one of the most important centers of learning on the planet. But then something happened. Historians still debate exactly how the library was destroyed. Some believe it was damaged during wars. Others think political and religious conflicts played a role. What we do know is that over time, much of the library's contents disappeared forever. Thousands of scrolls containing generations of knowledge were lost, and with them, countless discoveries vanished from history. But what if that never happened? What if the Library of Alexandria survived? The first thing that might change is the speed of human progress. Every generation builds on the discoveries of the people who came before them. When knowledge is lost, progress slows down. If the library's scrolls had survived, future scholars would have had access to information that was otherwise gone forever. Some historians believe scientific advancements could have happened centuries earlier. Take medicine, for example. Ancient doctors recorded treatments, observations, and techniques that may have been lost. If future generations had access to all that information, medical knowledge might have advanced much faster. Diseases could have been understood sooner. Better treatments might have been developed earlier. Millions of lives throughout history could potentially have been saved. Astronomy could have advanced faster too. Ancient scholars were already making surprisingly accurate observations of the universe. Some even proposed ideas that challenged the accepted views of their time. If their work survived and continued to be studied, humanity might have understood the solar system much earlier. Telescopes may have been invented sooner. Maybe even the space age would have arrived hundreds of years earlier. Technology is another fascinating possibility. The ancient world was more advanced than many people realize. Engineers created complex machines powered by water and steam. Some inventions were far ahead of their time. Imagine if inventors had centuries to continuously improve those technologies instead of rediscovering them later. The Industrial Revolution could have happened much sooner. Modern cities, transportation, and industry might have appeared centuries ahead of schedule. But there's another possibility. Maybe the library surviving wouldn't change history as much as we think. Knowledge alone isn't enough. Societies also need stability, resources, and people willing to use new ideas. Even with all those scrolls preserved, wars would still happen. Governments would still rise and fall. Political struggles could still slow progress. The library might have accelerated history, but it probably wouldn't have magically solved every problem. Still, one of the biggest impacts could be on our understanding of the past. Many ancient texts disappeared forever when the library's collections were lost. Historians today often work with fragments of information. Entire civilizations remain mysterious because important records no longer exist. If the Library of Alexandria survived, we might know far more about ancient cultures, forgotten inventions, and historical events that remain unsolved today. Imagine opening a book written thousands of years ago and finding answers to questions historians have debated for centuries. We might know exactly how certain ancient wonders were built. We could have detailed records of civilizations that have largely vanished from history. Entire chapters of humanity's story that are currently missing might still exist. Of course, we'll never know for sure. Maybe the library surviving would have changed everything. Maybe it would have changed very little. But one thing is certain: the destruction of knowledge is one of the greatest losses humanity can experience. Every discovery builds on another discovery. Every invention starts with an idea, and every generation depends on what came before it. So the next time you search something online, read a book, or learn a new fact, remember that thousands of years ago, there was a place trying to preserve all human knowledge in one building, a place that might have changed history forever if it had survived. The Library of Alexandria remains one of the greatest what ifs in human history, and honestly, if even a small fraction of those lost scrolls still existed today, our world might look very different.